The Millionaire CEO thought he could win any bet until he wagered on marrying a woman who knew his darkest secret. Before we start, leave a comment telling us what city you're listening from, and don't forget to subscribe to Hidden Hearth for more incredible stories of love, revenge, and redemption. Michael Harrison raised his crystal champagne glass at the exclusive rooftop bar overlooking Chicago's skyline, his confident smile reflecting the city lights below. At 35, he was everything people expected from a successful CEO: sharp suit, expensive watch, and an ego that matched his bank account. Success had always come easily to him, whether in business deals or personal conquests. "Come on, Jack," Michael laughed, loosening his tie as he faced his longtime friend across the marble table. "You know I never back down from a challenge." Jack Morrison, equally wealthy but lacking Michael's ruthless edge, swirled his whiskey thoughtfully. The two had been friends since business school, but lately Jack had grown tired of Michael's arrogance. Tonight, he was ready to teach him a lesson. "This isn't like your usual bets, Michael," Jack said, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "I'm talking about something that could actually change you." Michael leaned back in his leather chair, amused. "Try me." $1 million, Jack announced, watching Michael's eyebrows rise slightly. "I bet you don't have the guts to marry a woman who doesn't fit your usual standards." The challenge hung in the air like a lightning bolt. Michael was known for dating supermodels and socialites, women who enhanced his image and never challenged his authority. The idea of marrying someone outside his usual type was both insulting and intriguing. "And the catch?" Michael asked, though his competitive spirit was already engaged. "You have to stay married for 6 months. No divorce, no separation, a real marriage." Jack's smile widened. "And I get to choose the woman." Michael didn't hesitate. "Deal." What Michael didn't know was that Jack had someone very specific in mind: Sarah Coleman, a woman whose path had crossed with Michael's before, though he'd never bothered to remember her face. 3 days later, Michael found himself walking into an upscale restaurant in downtown Chicago, adjusting his cufflinks as he scanned the room for his mystery bride-to-be. Jack had been unusually secretive about the woman's identity, providing only a name and a meeting time. When Sarah Coleman walked through the restaurant doors, Michael's first thought was surprise. She wasn't what he had expected at all. While beautiful, she carried herself differently than the women in his usual circle. There was something in her eyes, a depth, an intelligence that seemed to look right through him. "Michael Harrison," she said as she approached his table, her voice steady and direct. No nervous giggling or attempts to impress him, just his name, stated like a fact. "Sarah Coleman, I presume," he replied, standing to pull out her chair. As she sat down, he noticed she didn't seem the least bit intimidated by the restaurant's opulence or his reputation. "Let's not pretend this is anything other than what it is," Sarah said, placing her hands calmly on the white tablecloth. "I know about the bet. I know the terms. 6 months of marriage for $1 million. Michael was taken aback by her directness, but also impressed. Most women would have at least pretended this was romantic. "And yet you agreed to meet me," he observed, studying her carefully. "Why?" Sarah's lips curved into a small smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Let's just say I have my own reasons for accepting this arrangement." "Which are?" "My business," she replied simply. "The question is, Mr. Harrison, are you sure you're ready for this? 6 months might seem short, but it's long enough for a lot of things to change." There was something in her tone that made Michael pause. It wasn't a warning exactly, but it felt like one. Still, his pride wouldn't let him back down now. "I think I can handle 6 months with anyone," he said confidently. Sarah's smile widened slightly. "We'll see about that." 2 weeks later, they stood before a judge in a simple courthouse ceremony. Michael had insisted on keeping things low-key. No media, no society photographers. This was just business, after all. Sarah wore an elegant navy dress and carried herself with the same quiet confidence that had intrigued him at their first meeting. As they exchanged vows that felt more like contractual agreements, Michael caught something in Sarah's eyes when she looked at him. For just a moment, he thought he saw pain there. But when he blinked, it was gone. replaced by that same unreadable expression she always wore. "You may kiss the bride," the judge announced. Their kiss was brief, formal, witnessed only by Jack and Sarah's friend Emma. As their lips touched, Michael felt an unexpected jolt, not of attraction exactly, but of something he couldn't quite identify. Sarah pulled away first, her expression unchanged. That evening, Michael brought Sarah to his penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan. The sprawling apartment was a testament to his success. Floor-to-ceiling windows, designer furniture, and art worth more than most people's houses. "Impressive," Sarah said, walking to the windows and looking out at the city lights. But her tone was flat, almost disinterested. "The master bedroom is upstairs," Michael began, but Sarah cut him off. "I'll take the guest room," she said firmly. "This is a business arrangement. Remember, 6 months, then we go our separate ways."
Michael nodded, though something about her distance bothered him more than he cared to admit. He was used to women being eager to please him, to share his space and his life. Sarah's indifference was challenging. Over the next few weeks, Michael tried everything he knew to impress her. Expensive jewelry, designer clothes, exclusive restaurant reservations. Sarah accepted them all with polite thanks, but showed no real enthusiasm. She moved through his world like a ghost, present but never truly engaged. What frustrated Michael most was that Sarah seemed immune to his charm. She didn't laugh at his jokes, didn't seem impressed by his business success, and showed no interest in the lifestyle he could provide. Instead, she maintained her own routine: morning runs, evening phone calls with friends he'd never met, books that she read curled up in the window seat overlooking the lake. "You're not like other women," Michael told her one evening as they shared a quiet dinner in his dining room. "And what are other women like?" Sarah asked, not looking up from her plate. "They usually respond more to this." He gestured around the opulent room. "To what I can offer." Sarah finally looked at him, and for a moment, Michael thought he saw something flicker in her eyes. Anger, maybe, or disappointment. "Maybe that says more about you than it does about them," she said quietly. The comment stung because it felt true. Michael realized he'd never actually tried to get to know the women he dated. He'd simply assumed his wealth and status were enough. As the weeks passed, Michael found himself watching Sarah more carefully, trying to understand what made her tick. She was intelligent, that much was obvious from their conversations. She had opinions about everything, from politics to art, and she wasn't afraid to disagree with him. More importantly, she didn't need anything from him, which was a completely new experience for Michael. But there were moments when he caught her looking at him with an expression he couldn't read. Sometimes it seemed like sadness, other times like she was studying him, waiting for something. Whatever it was, it made him increasingly uncomfortable. 1 month into their marriage, everything changed. Michael came home from work to find Sarah in his study, standing in front of his bookshelf with a framed photo in her hands. It was an old picture from a business conference, showing Michael with several other executives celebrating a successful acquisition. "Interesting photo," Sarah said, without turning around. Her voice was different now, colder, more controlled. "From a few years ago," Michael replied, loosening his tie. "Some deal we closed." "Why?" Sarah finally looked at him, and Michael felt his blood run cold. The mask she'd worn for weeks was gone, replaced by something fierce and dangerous. "Do you remember Coleman Industries?" she asked, her voice steady but deadly quiet. My mouth went dry. Coleman Industries had been a small manufacturing company I had acquired and dismantled 3 years ago. It had been a routine business deal: buy low, sell the assets, eliminate the competition. I'd never thought about it again. "You destroyed my father's company," Sarah continued, setting the photo down carefully. "He'd built it from nothing over 20 years. It was his life's work, his legacy. And you bought it just to tear it apart?" The pieces clicked into place with horrifying clarity. Sarah Coleman, the daughter of Robert Coleman, The man who'd refused to sell his company until Michael made him an offer he couldn't resist. The man He killed himself 6 months later, Sarah said, as if reading his thoughts. Lost everything, the business, our house, his pride. My mother and I found him in the garage. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. I remembered the deal now, remembered dismissing Robert Coleman as just another obstacle to profit. I'd never considered that the man had a family, had people who depended on him. Sarah, She held up a hand to stop me. You want to know why I agreed to this marriage? She asked, stepping closer. It wasn't for the money, Michael. It was for this moment. For the look on your face when you realized that your past finally caught up with you. You planned this, Michael said, though it wasn't really a question. Every detail, Sarah confirmed. Jack didn't choose me randomly. I approached him months ago. I knew about your friendship, knew he was tired of your arrogance. It wasn't hard to convince him to make the bet. Michael sank into his desk chair, the weight of her revelation crushing down on him. What do you want? Sarah's smile was cold and calculating. I want you to understand what it feels like to lose everything you care about. I want you to feel helpless, the way my father felt when you destroyed his life's work without a second thought. She moved toward the door, then paused and looked back at him. The real game is just beginning, Michael. And this time, you're not going to win. What did Sarah have planned for Michael? How far would she go to get her revenge? And would Michael be able to survive what was coming next? Subscribe to Hidden Hearth and hit that notification bell to find out what happens when the hunter becomes the hunted in this incredible tale of revenge and redemption.